could check your internet connection. Hey, I can't answer for that. You know.
Yeah, mine did the same thing when I first started. I had to do it twice.
Yeah. Yeah, there must be some problems. Let's see. I'll try it again. If it doesn't connect, then tough. I can't help it. Okay, we're live. Maybe.
Because we are.
A lot of internet problems. Everybody's on the internet. They got nothing else. Okay. Well, tonight, welcome to Wildcard Wednesday. I'm in Louisiana with passive aggressive beer reviews. Just kidding. I like to put little silly titles sometimes. We have Thomas Meadow 75 in Massachusetts. We have Bumpy Road Brewing in New Hampshire, and we have Michael Komaroff in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. And so what do you have, Thomas Meadow 75?
I am drinking the Pseudo Sue Pale Ale from Toppling Goliath Brewing Company. They're out of the Clora, Iowa. Single hop pale ale with the citra hop. This one is actually canned on 2/19/2020, and I believe, what did I write? This is 5.8% ABV.
Okay, I have the Budweiser Nitro Reserve Gold, introduced in 2020, and it is 5% alcohol, and it's a nitro can. I did try this on draft 5 years ago at the brewery, but that didn't catch on. The true draft version didn't catch on, so they went to the nitro can. And the difference between this and Budweiser is that this is made without rice adjunct. It's just water, barley malt, hops, and yeast. So it's a Reinheitsgebot, German purity law type beer. Now, Bumpy Road, what do you have, Jesse? Bumpy Road.
So what I'm bringing is I wanted a light lager, and looking at the choices that were available, some of them were more expensive than this for a 12-pack, like Michelob and stuff like that. It was like $1 more. So why not go with a Sam Adams Light?
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's comes at 4.3% ABV. And it says worth the wait on the back. It says, when we decided to brew a light beer, we wanted to do it our way, starting from scratch instead of making a light version of another beer. It took us 2 years to get it just right, but the result was worth it. This amber lager has a rounded sweetness, subtle hop character, and clean, smooth finish. And it's got that.
Yeah, I think it came out in 1995, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Michael Komaroff.
I have Lagunitas, a little something ale.
Which is
7.5% and 64.2 IBUs.
I don't think
Yeah, they like to be cheeky over there at Lagunitas. They kind of make a joke.
At 10th in to make it seem like they're keeping track real close.
You're right.
And Lagunitas is out of Petaluma, California, and they have a brewery now in Chicago as well.
I've been to the one in California. That is a nice brewery. Very nice.
Oh, I'd like to visit it. I'd like to visit either one, I suppose. Now, Schlitz Malt Liquor on the side of Peach Crown Royal tonight. I've seen a lot of people buying the Crown Royal Peach, not to mention the apple and the other ones. Okay, now I'm going to pour mine first, so I'm going to highlight myself, but I'm going to go to everybody, of course. And if anybody adds on, I don't see them, alert me to that. So here's the can, and I flipped it over at least 3 times, like they say. So I'm going to open it now. It's best by August. Oh yeah, it's already starting to blow out the can. Okay, so, and I have this Budweiser glass from the 1970s. Look at that beautiful glass. I bought this at some yard sale or something like that for $1, I think. Might have been less. Okay, so they say pour it in straight. You can hear that probably. And that's the whole can in the glass. I'm going to wipe some of it up. Spilled. And so you're going to get that reverse cascade effect. And you'll notice it's very deep gold, almost amber. It's really an amber lager, whereas Budweiser would be straw. You know, Budweiser is straw. This is amber. And then you're going to have that nitro head at the top. And we know the Guinness head. This one's a little more soapy, though, this time, but for some reason. But we'll let that settle down. And the aroma I'm getting on it is, like I said in the original review, barley burn. When you get pure barley, it kind of burns, like a kind of intense. So if you're a Budweiser drinker, this might throw you back a little bit. You might say, "Ooh, it burns," or whatever. Like in the movie from 1973, it burns, it burns. But now the taste, real fast. You get that prickly, creamy nitro effect. Nitro is like that cream you get with the Wexford Irish ale, but then it's lager, and you're getting a little honey note, biscuit, soda cracker, little mild grassy hop action, medium body, and a crisp finish. It's similar to Budweiser, but it's, like I say, a German purity law beer, water, barley malt, hops, and yeast. It's $14.99 for a 12-pack, probably because it's a little bit more expensive ingredients, so they got to compensate for that. And I'm very pleased with it. I have about 9 left, and I think I'll enjoy drinking it. Is it better than Budweiser? Yes, it is, but it's more expensive, so you have to be willing to make the trade-off, and I'm willing to do that at least once. Yeah, it's hot. It's already becoming warm out here. We're close to 90 degrees in southeastern Louisiana this week. So at 90 degrees, this is working. Well, it's about 86. All right, so now, Eric, you joined secondly. So I'll go to you secondly, and I'll try to do the comments, post the comments.
Secondly. All right, cool. So again, I am going to be consuming the there we go, Pseudo Sue Pale Ale from the Toppling Goliath Brewing Company out of the Clora, Iowa. They say that this single hop pale ale showcases the citra hop for a well-balanced beer that is delicate in body with a mild bitterness in the finish. Ferocious, yes, hop aromas of citrus and mango give a refreshing taste that is bright with just enough bite, and they are brewing up history with the Field Museum. I think some of their proceeds go to the Field Museum in Chicago, Illinois, apparently where the largest T-Rex fossil was ever discovered, somewhere in that region. So very cool. Yeah, it looked like what I tend to drink on this channel. Ooh, nice light. It looks like orange juice. Looks like something from New England, but it's from the middle of the country in Iowa.
Yeah, that's something.
There's a little bit of particulates towards the bottom. There's more milky towards the bottom. It's kind of got a milky orange juice look to it. The bright. There you go. Bam. Did I mention? No, quickly. 5.8%. Yeah, definitely lots of tropical fruit juice. Definitely lots and lots of pineapple or grapefruit followed by the pineapple. Tons of that. I'm getting that bubble gummy kind of a yeast strain from this one. Definitely a lot of peppercorn spiciness that could be from the yeast once again. That light is awesome. Yeah, and white bready malt. I mean, it smells like a cup of fruit juice in the morning. What you would think of as a traditional New England style hoppy beer and an India Pale Ale is what this smells like. Not much to tell you, but damn. 100 out of 100 on Beer Advocate. Let's see if that's true. Can on 219, so pretty fresh.
Cheers, Eric.
Cheers. Ooh.
Cheers.
That is ripe, green, and herbaceous in the hops. It is very, very fresh hopping going on in this one. Very nice. Again, grapefruit number 1, pineapple. There's actually an appreciable amount of like an oranginess, an orange kind of flavor, or like that little pith around the what do you call that? The peel of the orange. Definitely a white bready malt in the background. There's definitely a sweetness to it. It's 45 IBUs. It is lingering around for a little bit. There is a little tiny itty bitty bit of resinness to it. There's maybe a tiny bit of chalkiness towards the finish. It's a pretty dry finish. It's a light to medium, more on the medium side. It is, again, crisp, clean, ultra refreshing. A tad watery, but not that much. It actually gets a little bit more intense in the mouth. It's not quite as fleshy as those beers from the Voodoo Ranger series, but it's sort of getting towards that. So, I mean, 100 out of 100 so far. I don't know about that, but so far, very, very delicious. 2 thumbs up so far. Again, if you like New England style hoppy hazy beers, yeah, this is one to try. So far, so good.
Wow.
Cool.
Now the Sam Adams Light.
Light. I am going to pour this into the perfect pint. Sam Adams. Bring out more of the flavors and aromas. Okay. So with that pour, it kind of has a little bit of an off-white head, small bubbles to it. The color of the beer is a lot darker than you'd find in a lot of the American adjunct light lagers, because this one doesn't state that it is an adjunct. Very, very carbonated.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. So it's very, like, kind of going into that almost amber coloration. The aromas, lots of like caramel notes, a little bit of a bready undertone. Kind of an earthy, noble hoppiness to it. All right, let's go in for the first swig. Cheers.
Cheers, Jesse.
Cheers to you.
Yeah, so it's kind of got a nice bready, almost red crust malt flavor to it. A little bit of like a caramel to toffee sweetness. The hop flavors from it are still kind of on that kind of earthy, herbal spice type. Very light body, crisp. It has a high carbonation level. Does not taste like a 4.3% lager. This one's actually pretty full of flavor, so it's enjoyable for being a light lager. A lot more flavor than you're going to find in the American adjunct lagers. Yeah. So, and the price point, I'm not sure if that was stated on here, if we were already live or not, but looking at like Michelob Light, it was like $1 cheaper than a 12-pack of that for the Sam Adams Light. It was right on par with like Bud Light and stuff like that as far as pricing. It was the exact same. So you're gonna pick up a light beer and you want some good flavor. This is
I remember
right in the same price range and a lot more flavor. So
I remember 10 years ago, it was pretty common around here. I don't think it was necessarily really a big seller then, but you'd see it. Then you kind of saw it every now and then, and now maybe you'll see it once a year around here. And I guess there's so much competition, it just didn't pan out here. But that's too bad, because I thought it was a better than average light beer too, actually. So now Michael's going to give us his exposition.
Okay. Got it lined up in the glass. It's a clear golden color, and I don't know if you can tell because the lighting isn't great, but very small bubbles rising. The head is has gone down, as you can tell from the top. So there's lacing on the side, but very small white head. Let me give it a nose. You get the kind of piney, dank kind of feel in the nose. And you can smell the hops as well. Let me give it a taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, Michael.
Wow. This is pretty intense. It's like the first taste, it's like all that stuff together, the pine, the dankness. You can taste some resin in this as well. It's coming on very, very strong, and it's not like you can taste the alcohol, but you can taste the intensity. The alcohol is a little bit muted, but again, you know this is not session.
No.
It has substance to it. I don't know if you tasted this blind, if you would guess at 7.5%, maybe not. You might think of it, like a standard 6% IPA kind of thing. And I'm not even sure if it's really an IPA. They're just saying it's an ale, but it has IPA characteristics in it. And I'm enjoying it. It's very easy drinking. Medium bodied. I'm very impressed with the intensity of it. I like intense beers. Maybe everybody else doesn't, but I like beers that are kind of in your face.
I like them. I like them.
This one's in your face, but it's in your face and it's good. Lagunitas has a tendency to brew very fine beer, and they do a really nice job. I'll be back with a number.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'm coming back to my seat.
Roger.
I like it a lot.
All right. Let's see. We'll try to look at these comments for a moment. Oh, well, maybe. I never smoked marijuana in my whole entire life, so I couldn't comment to that effect.
He tried, but he didn't inhale. Oh, wait a minute. That was Clinton.
No, I never even tried it.
I believe you. Clinton tried to deceive us on that one.
You mean deceptive?
Yeah, that's the word.
Not Bill Clinton, not the Clintons. Okay.
Sounds like a great show. Not the Clintons.
Being deceptive, not the Clintons.
No.
People showing up dead all the time, not the Clintons. All right. Anyway, well, my beer. Let's see. I'm gonna try to keep up with the comments, but they come in fast and furious like a movie. I'm fine, Carlos. Good to hear from you. Okay, native Mississippian here and everybody. All right, now talking about people being sick. I'm feeling kind of short of breath today since around 8 o'clock this morning. I'm not kidding. But I think it's allergies from all the pollen in the air, because I feel like a burning in my chest. And I've had that feeling before in the springtime with all this stinking pollen. But then you never know, right? You never know, and you hate to be wrong, right? Could be a permanent incorrect assessment. All right.
No joke. Somebody. And if that's the case, Eric would have to do Wildcard Wednesday from now on. All right. Anyway, and I'm not kidding about that, but I think I'll be all right. We don't know. Okay. Yeah, I have bad allergies, and I get scared now. I'm not scared at all. I just was thinking, oh, they say shortness of breath, but I was reading on YouTube, Yahoo, and they were saying, one of the early signs of this COVID is that you lose your sense of smell. Well, I ain't lost my sense of smell. I can smell all the biscuits and the like stuff I said. Score here. Okay, I know Michael has the best beer on this hangout tonight, I think, but I've never had Pseudo Sue, so I can't really say. But of the beers I've tried, this, Sam, Adams Light, and the little Lagunitas something. I think I would give something the highest score. But this one here, I'm still going to give a good score. Let's see.
if you ever wanted to try a craft style Budweiser, here's your chance. No corner rice, good barley flavor, good hops. It really tastes like back in the mid 90s when all the companies around were starting these craft beers and they were saying, forget the corn, forget the rice. You want it to be like Germany and all that. And I was very interested in that. And this tastes like that. And I would have to say a 93. It's into the most excellent range. I think if you can get a 93 out of 100 beer and you're only paying $14.99 for a 12-pack, that's a real winner. That's a real winner. So what do you score it? Thomas Meadow 75, also known as Massachusetts Beer Reviews, also known as Eric Fraunfelter.
Three-way name. Ooh, wait a minute. I don't want to be too generous, but I might as well just speak my mind and have Michael Komarov in his diary journal write down 98 out of 100. Damn. Yeah, Pseudo Sue is 90. Yeah, you go blindfolded and you go through Bumpy and I's neck of the woods and you try some of these New England IPAs, pale ales, and you go blindfolded and you put Pseudo Sue in the mix. You'd have no clue to guess this came out of the state of Iowa. It is dead on, spot on for the style, especially a pale ale. It is tasting a little bit bigger than that. It almost reminds me of like a 6% or so IPA, even though it is 5.8. Very orangey, I've started to notice in the glass when it finishes. It's got a little bit of a chalky thing, astringency to it, but it's pretty dry and it doesn't last all that long. Otherwise, this is like 2FE the style. Beer, if I get saying 100 is not so bad. I don't know what this beer is. Might be like 14 or somewhere between 14 and 15 for a 4-pack box of these guys. But I mean, I don't think I've ever had a month old about freshness date on any of these Pseudo Sue beers or any of these other Top and Goliath beers. It's hard to get them in date. So when you find them in date, my buddy Dave did. Thank you, Dave. They taste amazing. Good stuff. If you, for some reason, can get Top and Goliath hoppy beers in your area.
Hey, Eric, have you ever had the Ghost in the Machine?
I don't think so. I don't.
You probably like it from South Central Louisiana.
I would like that, huh? All right. Ghost and the Machine. I'm gonna.
No, Ghost in the Machine. You let the good times roll too, Dr. Fuss. It's called Ghost in the Machine, and it's one of those beers that's kind of like, you're right, Ron. They really have stepped it up. I always knew that Anheuser-Busch could do top-notch stuff, and this is a real winner. I mean, every time I take a sip, it's better than the previous sip. Okay, Jesse, how do you score yours?
Mine, I didn't really know like where to land this one as far as an actual style. Like I have nothing to really compare it to besides, going after the American Adjunct light lagers, or going the other option, which this one kind of is more like the European lagers. But I don't see too many like light versions of those. Most of them are already light in ABV anyways, coming in around, the 4.6 to 5.5 range. But this one's kind of more flavored along the European lager scene. So for being a light lager, I'm just gonna say it's full of flavor. It's much more enjoyable than what you can find here in the States as far as most light lagers. So 95 out of 100 for me.
Wow. Have you been making a effort lately to start drinking lighter beers? I was just curious. I'm not.
I've been picking up a lot of cheaper beers and stuff, doing the Paps and stuff.
Oh.
I still buy craft, but I'm not. I'm kind of I'm getting some other beers to fill my fridge with a bit more than just all craft.
What did John Henderson Pierre said he was trying to join this evening He says that most weeks we hope you're doing well in Mobile, and that's one of the things that he was talking about too. Is that especially with him, I'm not sure that he's working right now, but the cheaper beers are what's available right now to be able to fill the refrigerator while this craziness is going on. So whatever you can get, even if you want to join us and do something like this, we'd love to hear about it. I'm sure anything's better than nothing, right?
That's right, and you can find some inexpensive, decent beers, even though people say you can't. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, Lagunitas is dirt for what it is. I'm sure you didn't pay a whole bunch for that there, Michael.
I got a couple.
What do you score?
I got a couple of bottles from my.
Speak of the devil. I was just talking about you. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Would you like?
We're keeping good. I hope we're keeping our. Sorry. Hope we're keeping our. This is from everybody.
Hold on, Sean. Michael's going to give his assessment and score, and then we'll let you have the floor.
Okay.
Something from Lagunitas.
Continues and gets a little bit warmer, that whole resiny kind of feel continues and it stays. So I will say that the 64.2 you can really taste. So this would be considered to me a fairly bitter beer too.
Yeah.
But I guess I like the bitterness. I am going to give this less than Eric did, but more than Bumpy did, and give it a 96. So this is a solid A.
Yes.
I love that beer. I love it.
I have not found a Lagunitas beer I didn't at least like.
What? So that beer's a little polarizing. So I think on Beer Advocate, I don't know if it's the brewery maybe, but at least on Beer Advocate, they call it an American Pale Wheat Ale. And other people consider that one a just straight up IPA or Pale Ale, should I say. What is your assessment on it? Does that have a lot of weed in it? Does it remind you of a wheat beer?
I would call it a hybrid, and if they're saying that wheat is the main element they're using, well, most beers have wheat, but
yeah, in some regards,
they may use more wheat than you normally would do in an IPA. It's a hybrid to me, but it's really good, and it's the way it's balanced. It's very enjoyable. If you don't like the West Coast style, stay away from it though, because the dankness, the piney, the resiny is what it is, and it's intense. If you like that, it's fine. It's not as bad as Palate Wrecker or some of the resin or some of the real. Not when I say bad, I mean it's not as intense as those, but it's fairly intense for almost 65 IBU.
Cool.
What kind of Michael? What kind of IPA you're drinking tonight?
Lagunitas something ale.
Yes, I've had that. Excellent.
What are you drinking tonight?
A lot. I've had it several times. Not the first.
What are you drinking, Beverage Ramble?
Yes. Yes, everybody. Yes.
John, it's good
Good
to
evening.
see you.
Yes, good to see everybody. Hope everybody's taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
I won't get into all the political stuff about what's been happening, but yes, I've been trying to. A lot's been going on with me. Of course, as I mentioned, my laptop went down on me, so I'm using someone else's laptop. I'm surprised with this browser I'm able to get on tonight. Lucky me. But excuse me. Any event, it's been one of those weeks where I don't give a hoot. I've been drinking whatever I can get my hands on with the cheap stuff and whatever.
Damn straight.
Even some malt liquors I've been drinking. So yeah, it's been getting a little crazy. Yes. As you saw my picture I posted on Facebook, I spoke with Dr. Crown. I said, Dr. Crown, I need to talk to you. Let me tell you about my day. And he came through for me. Yep. No spirits, I know, but it was one of those days I needed Dr. Crown, and Dr. Crown came through for me. So
he wasn't aggressive.
No, he wasn't aggressive at all. And in fact, after a good talk, I went to bed very happy and I slept well. So tonight I am drinking everyone's favorite ice beer, Natty Ice, tonight.
All right, there you go, Michael.
Yeah, 5.9%. It is one of the better, more enjoyable ice beers. I know a few times I've said that this beer gave me a headache, but recently, since the new labeling and everything, This beer has not given me that. I don't know how many years they've done New Maybe a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. Very good ice lager, very enjoyable. I've always had, like I said, since the change, whatever, I've been buying this a lot. Came to, I think, was it a 6-pack? I bought this on Monday. I think I have two more cans of this left.
What's the ABV?
For $4.50, 5.9% ABV, $4.50 plus tax. So, pretty decent beer. There's one thing that's good about this whole situation, that we can buy our hooch and get down and have some fun.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting down.
They're staying in instead of getting down.
Exactly, stay in, get down, sit outside, and have a smoke. Look at the pretty sky and the warm weather and the rain, whatever it is. Yeah, and be self-quarantined. But anyway, very good beer, nice. As you can see, there's definitely a lot of some hops, definitely more so malts, and I'm getting this in this beer than anything. I'll give you my score on this later. I think we've already gone through natural ice many times.
Barely anything. There's your review, folks.
There you go. Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
I just need to, hey, you know what, guys? I need to talk to some people. It's been a long week. I need to talk to some friends. And I said, there's Bumpy, there's Michael, Eric, Ron. I needed some people to talk to. And I said, you know what? I need to hang out with some friends tonight. So why not? Let's have a beer.
Taking care of business.
That's right.
No, you can give your score now because we already gave our scores. So.
All right.
What do you think?
Okay, natural ice, as I always said, one of the popular ice beers. I'm giving it A plus. This is, yeah. I mean, in its category.
Michael.
Well, yeah, of course. But what specific number would you?
A plus, I guess. 96. Is that A plus?
That's A plus enough for me.
I would call it 90.
Yeah.
I would call it. I would say 96 is an A, but anyway.
Okay.
No big
I'm
deal.
sorry, Professor Terrio. I apologize.
By the way, I'm not disparaging anybody for their ratings of macros. Hit it as hard as you want. Give it 100 if you want. Doesn't matter. Go for it.
And it's going good with this. I'm having some taco soup right now with some cheese and some sour cream. So it's going good with it. So
right on.
I was going to tell a story before I can tell it quickly now. I was on.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was on Facebook and I was coming across something, and I was, I guess, on instant messaging with one of my beer Facebook friends, and he's into macro. I'm not. We were just discussing things in general, and he said something like, "Do you think PBR is swill?" And I said, "No. If you want to drink it and you like PBR, it's fine. It's just a macro. It's a lager, and it's positive. It's just." Like I've said to you people before, my macro days are over. Somebody gives me one, I'll try it. It's nothing that I favor, but to each his own.
So Michael, if I come to a party that you invite me and I bring a case of Schaefer's or Schlitz, am I going to get the side eye from you?
No, I will say nothing. I will absolutely say nothing. But if I come to your party, I'm not bringing macro. I'm bringing craft beer.
That right there, that's the beer.
I'll pay a little bit more for it, but
that's right.
That's what
that right there is a beer connoisseur right there. Michael Comcroft, my buddy, my Aquarius brother. That's the beer connoisseur.
But I've been there before. I've drank macros in my earlier days, so it's not like I don't have experience. It's just that I made the decision. Macros are here, and craft is a little bit further to the right in my power zone.
Right.
That's all.
Now wait, Sean, did you call him Michael Comquat?
No, Komarov. No.
Kumquat's an actually good nickname. I like it.
No, I didn't.
He's a very bitter orange fruit.
No.
Komkorov.
They used to call me kamikaze on my job.
He's very Russian.
Michael Komarov. Like I said, I'm drinking, I'm choking on my food while I'm talking. I need to slow down, so I'm sorry.
And beverage ramble. Remember, it's David Garlapede.
David Garlapede. I'm sorry.
David,
not Gallopin, not Gimagob, or whatever you were saying. videos.
Forgive me, David. I love you, buddy. Thank you. Forgive me, David. Forgive me, David, if you're watching. Forgive me, buddy. So,
David,
I
David
have
drove you
difficulty.
around.
I have difficulty with saying names, so forgive me.
David drove you around the city, didn't
Yeah, I know he did, and I thank David for that, man. He was a great tour guide, and like I said, New Orleans might be in my future. I'm in the state of Louisiana, but that's down the road. So,
Oh yeah.
he? Yeah, I can find you some good deals, actually. Hey, Michael, I want to ask you a question. You went to the University of Minnesota, right?
Yes, I did.
The Golden Gophers. Now, when you went to the university, there, I don't know what your major was, but
I was a history major.
History. Oh, I have a master's degree in history, and I have a bachelor's degree in social studies education. But when you went there,
Political science.
when you went there, Eric's got political science. When you went there, did you drink a lot of craft beer during your college days or macro beer?
As a matter of fact, I went to school from 68 to 72, so I don't even think there was any craft beer. Now, when did the one Sierra Nevada start?
In 1980.
Okay.
79, 80. Yeah.
So I guess the closest thing to draft beer I drank was foreign imported beer, like Heineken and Lowenbrau and that kind of stuff. But I mostly drank your typical Miller, Pabst, Schlitz, and all your national brands. Plus, in Minnesota, we had Grain Belt and Hams were the two local beers in Minneapolis. So I drank those. Plus, the bordering state was Wisconsin, and those beers that Trader Joe's gets, the ones that are brewed in Wisconsin, they had local stuff we could get. Line and Kugel you could get, and all kinds of beers. And in those days, you used to buy these cases that you'd return, these big boxes with 24. You get, this is shocking, but you get a case of beer for $2.50. So it was a little over 10 cents a bottle. Now again, if you make that inflation and you add inflation to it, it's gonna bring it up to probably around $6 maybe, or $7 now for a case, or maybe 8 or 9 even, because inflation has gone up a lot in the last 50 years, I would guess.
Right. And for example, in 1970, let's say 1970, middle ground, if you would have made $20,000 a year income in 1970, people would have been quite impressed. They would have thought, wow, this guy makes $20,000 a year. I can't get over it. You know what I mean?
At the time, Jay, they had gas wars there, and gas was 22 cents a gallon, just to give you an idea. Now, it was always more in New York when I came back because the taxes were higher. But you still get gas for 35 or 40 cents.
Michael, the ABV and those beers at that time, I know Minnesota has something with it's all based on weight. Am I correct, Jay? Everything's kind of based on weight, the weight of the beer?
No, not exactly. What you're thinking about is in Minnesota, if you buy beer from a grocery store, it's a 3.2 ABW, which translates to 4% alcohol. So yeah. Now, if you go to a liquor store and buy beer, you can get the regular ABV, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever they got. So when I went to Minnesota, I made sure I was buying beer from liquor stores. I might have paid more, but I wasn't playing around with any 4% alcohol beer. I mean, I wanted the real authentic stuff. But yeah, Minnesota's a strange state where they got two different setups for beer, like Oklahoma or something like that.
That's
I'm also remembering the brewery in La Crosse, Wisconsin that made special export and something else that we had access to as well. I don't know if they still exist. That was probably bought out by somebody.
Yeah. It's still a brewery there. It was Heileman's Old Style and Heileman's Special Export.
Isn't that still being made, right? By Pabst now, right?
Yeah, and City Brewing in La Crosse does a lot of, and they're on the same highway that sometimes people can see lights. If I do a video in the dark, they can see lights. That same highway right there is the same highway that the brewery is on in La Crosse, but right next to the Mississippi River, and I'm less than a mile from the river. But the craft beer,
Go ahead, Jack.
The craft beers Michael would have been able to get in 1969 would have been so limited. It'd have been things like Guinness and maybe Guinness Foreign Extra Stout or Lowenbrau,
Heineken.
or Heineken or Guinness or Murphy's Irish Stout. But really, that was what people thought of in 1969 as craft beer, but the terminology was not used. No one would have used the term craft beer. They might have said imports or specialty beer, right?
Right. Speaking of more high alcohol stuff, they had something, and I can't remember who made it, called Big Cat Malt Liquor. And I think it was 8%, which at that time was astoundingly high. And it was very expensive, but people would buy 6-packs of it and they'd give it out to their friends and say, try this. It's, crazy. But again, it wasn't, at the time, you could tell it wasn't quality. It was just trying to get you.
Lee, come on in, man.
Yeah, Big Cat, from what I understand, Big Cat is still made. And I believe it's still made in La Crosse.
Doing a video.
And from what I understand,
doing a beer video right now. Just talking to my guys on Wednesday night. Just sitting there. I need somebody to talk to, about beer.
Hear you loud and clear, John. Loud and clear. Oh, he's muted.
Okay, I had to take care of that. So, from what I understand, Big Cat was and is still made. It's still terrible. Mostly in cans, although I think bottles exist. And like Michael Comroe says, 50 years ago it was made as a cheap, high alcohol, get drunk beer, and it's still made as a cheap, high alcohol, get drunk beer. I bought some stuff like that up in Wisconsin. I bought the Jaguar malt liquor, and that was one of the few beers I ever dumped down the sink. I had 2-pint cans and I dumped them right down the sink, and I said to myself, I don't need this in my life. So, Bumpy Road, you've been quiet. What do you have to say?
No, I've just been listening to everybody. I don't have anything to add. I was born in 1981, so craft was already available by the time I was.
But you guys are more youngster-ish, so, it's from a different era.
1988. Who are you talking about, young?
You're still a youngster.
And when Michael started going to college, I was just getting born. I was just a baby, like 6 months old, probably.
I'm pushing 70.
Yeah.
Next year, I'll be 70.
Hey, my mother was born in 1947.
So she's just a little bit older. I was born in 51.
Yeah, and she was 20 years old when I was born, and I just remember that, I can remember kind of like what you're talking about, but I have a different reference point. You were going to college and drinking beer, and I was laying on a blanket chewing on a pacifier, but I can still kind of remember. But I remember a lot of people drinking around me. They all did. It wasn't. In Louisiana, it's not considered unusual.
We did all kinds of strange stuff. We'd go to a Gopher basketball game and we'd bring the beer in. We didn't want to pay for it there, so we'd bring it in big jackets. The weather is so cold. They didn't pat you down in those days, so you could load up the inside of your jacket. And they didn't really.
Oh my God!
The people who were in there, the security people, they only came out if there was a riot. Otherwise, they basically stayed away from the court side, so less people went crazy. So you could pretty much do what you want as long as you got rid of the cans and didn't leave them there to make it obvious. What you did.
Bring a few cans, a couple of bumps, you're good. Whoa, wow!
And these are Miller High Life cans. You remember those? I mean, they still make it, but that's what I would be drinking. And that was a cheaper beer at the time. They didn't have any of these, or they probably did have some of these things at the time. I don't remember Old Milwaukee Light and stuff like that. Maybe they were making that at the time. I don't know.
No, Old Milwaukee Light actually didn't hit the market till 1982. But light beer didn't really get started till the mid 70s, long after you were out of college. I know University of Minnesota basketball, I think they used to have an old auditorium that was sort of like a big barn, right? With
That's what it
and then
was.
the
Dave
basketball.
Winfield was on one of the teams when I was going to school at the University of Minnesota. More known for his basketball, more known for his baseball than his basketball. But he played basketball and baseball at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, and the basketball court at that university was sort of like on a stage, elevated off.
I think it has a new one now that's been built since then. I think it was called Williams Arena then. I'm not sure what it's called now. I know the whole campus
and they're
updated because my friends tell me that they've upped the campus is different. And actually, their football team was decent this last season. They are not always.
Yeah,
they were good this last season.
Right, and their football team played at an old college stadium in bitter cold back in the day. That's how they would win.
Going to college there were times you couldn't go to class because it was 40 below. So you had to, if you wanted to, you had to get to the campus, and then you could go underground. It was like the buildings were all together, but you had to get from where you lived off campus to the campus in order to get in. And you can imagine in 40 below, it's scary.
Hey, recently,
I was just gonna say I remember old episodes of the Mary Tyler Moore Show was supposed to be set in Minneapolis, and they would have all these cold days,
just to show it.
I remember a playoff game. I remember when the Vikings had played at TCF at the stadium where University of Minnesota plays at. When the Metrodome had finally served its purpose and they were playing their games there at the TCF. I thought it was a pretty good setting for the Vikings to play games there at that college stadium. And I remember a playoff game. Of course, Bud Grant, I think they were playing Seattle, and I think Seattle won that game. Bud Grant came out. It was like what, minus 10 or minus 20 degrees in Minneapolis, which is, I guess that's like, I guess maybe a warm day in Minneapolis. But Bud Grant came out in short sleeve shirt, walked out like, yeah, I'm Bud Grant. I'm like, yeah, here we go, huh? I'm like, hey.
Linemen not wearing anything on their arms and saying
exactly. But hey, one thing I love about that city, and I would love to visit that city one day, about Minneapolis. They love their football.
I've been there about 4 times, and of course, when Michael was going to college, the Vikings played at the old Metropolitan Stadium, where the Mall of America is today. You probably remember that, Michael, Metropolitan Stadium. And then the baseball team, the Twins, also played at the Metropolitan Stadium. It was a multi-purpose stadium.
Yeah.
It's got to be a much bigger metropolitan area. The suburbs have grown a lot, and the city's grown somewhat. And St. Paul, which is on the other side, the Twin City, has a lot of population as well. So that's most of the population of the state of Minnesota is in the metropolitan area. There's smaller cities like Duluth and others, but most of the people are in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area in that state. And it's got, I guess, 5 or 6 million people in the metropolitan
area. It
area.
seems like a real cool city to hang out and have fun in,
It is, and it's interesting because it's really not that far from Wisconsin. If you get on the interstate and go east, it's really not that far from Wisconsin.
It's relatively close. Now, the part of Wisconsin you hit is not built up, though. So you have to get further.
No, La Crosse is small. Small. Yeah.
The center of Wisconsin is where they're Milwaukee, which is on the other side, and Madison, which is the capital, which is more centrally located. Milwaukee's closer to Chicago.
Yeah, the Wisconsin-Minnesota football games are really fun. The Paul Bunyan game, the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and the Paul Bunyan Axe that they play for. That's kind of cool. So.
I've been to Minneapolis, and I've been to St. Paul, and I've been to the city. What do you call it? This city center headquarters, whatever the city hall. It was a beautiful museum. I've been to the Metrodome 3 times. I've walked along the river, Mississippi River, which is so skinny there. I can't believe it. It's so skinny. They even have rapids, like a waterfall kind of like thing. So anyway, well, we could go on and on about geography. It's so interesting, but in Minnesota and all that, I don't know why Michael decided to go there. I guess he wanted to try something different.
I wanted to go to a Big Ten school, and I didn't really want to go to Ohio State, and I didn't really want to go to Wisconsin. So this was this was the furthest west of a bit. It's funny now. Penn State is a Big Ten school now.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't then. It was an independent then.
Yeah.
But it was pretty far away. It was in a big city. I figured coming from New York, I'd want to be in a big city, or a big city, if not similar, but big enough where I'd have. And it turned out to be a good experience for me.
Nice.
You know, like I always say, if you get to travel, you get to go different states and different places, whether in the Midwest, South, out West, you see how people are, and you realize, hey, yeah, everybody's different, but overall, at the end of the day, hey, they're all the same,
Yeah, in a general sense, yeah. Now, Commerce Ozzy said, no, I went by Tiger Stadium. I took some photos, but I've been to the Detroit Tigers 3 times, but it was always at the Comerica Park. I've been to many Major League Baseball stadiums. In fact, I've been to every Major League Baseball stadium, including some that are no longer used or have been demolished. That's a true story. But I wish I could say I've tried every beer in the world, but haha.
That's never going to happen.
Never gonna do
Did you ever go to Detroit? Jay, did you go to Detroit early when Briggs Stadium was still there, their old stadium?
No, the first time I ever went to Detroit was in 2002.
Okay, I'm sure Briggs Stadium is from the 90s or maybe even the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I went to Detroit in 1996, but that was in the middle of the night. It was dark at night.
That's
We
a
drove
terrible
across
place to go in the middle of the night, Detroit.
Yeah, we drove from Canada. We were in Windsor, Canada, and we drove across the bridge. And then I went back to Detroit in 2002, and we went to see the Tigers at the new stadium, not Briggs Stadium, which was demolished.
Tiger Stadium.
Comerica Park.
Yup.
Tiger Stadium, Briggs Stadium is the same stadium.
Very nice.
I went back in 2003, and then the next year. And then I went back in 2014. But I haven't been back to Detroit in 6 years. But when I went to Detroit in 2014, I was amazed because the downtown area was all clean. It was nice. They had flowers everywhere and landscaping. And I went to the Catholic church there. It was fascinating. I went to
because 2 years ago, if I'm correct, they went through bankruptcy, right? 2 or 3 years ago, right? City of Detroit.
Oh, I don't know. And I parked at the stadium. It didn't cost me any money to park. I parked for free. And it was fast. I even have that video still posted on my Facebook page. I mean, my YouTube page. If you want to see the video, it's called, I don't know. It's where I opened the trunk of the car, the Dodge Avenger. I got the trunk open and I'm showing all the beers as the people leave the stadium. It's kind of funny. It's kind of a funny video.
Yeah.
Bumpy, what's your second beer?
Genesee.
I like that beer. Can't get it.
You can't get it?
No, all I can get is Genesee and Genesee Light.
In New York? What?
Yeah, they're out of Rochester. What the heck?
Hey,
But
we don't.
Jenny and Jenny Light, the distributor only sends those down to New York City. I've asked.
We don't get any Genesee beers in Louisiana, so
Random, you two.
The Jenny Cream is actually decent. I'm not thrilled with Jenny or Jenny Light, so I don't bother buying any.
yeah, I don't care for those. I don't care for those either. But the cream ale is the winner. Yeah.
But that's life. I'll have to learn to live without it. Now that would be considered that's one that's a macro. I would drink that.
It's a macro, but it's a really good macro ale.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make something called 12 Horse Ale, which I don't know if you guys have had or not.
I've had it once when I was in.
One draft.
Very
One
good.
draft.
All right.
Yeah.
John, can
I
you get
love
these
the-
Tennessee products in Alabama.
I can get some Tennessee stuff down here. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
What's the name of the brewery?
Genesee.
Genesee. The cream ale. Genesee.
Oh, Genesee. Yeah. We get Genesee ice, cream ale, and light.
What?
And the what's the other? The lager. So the lager, the ice, and the light we can get.
We just get the straight Jenny and the Jenny light. So
that's crazy.
I'm passing.
Michael's in the same state and can't get it, and Jean is on the Gulf Coast and gets it. Well, that makes sense.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Probably ship a lot of it out of state, I would guess.
Hey, baby. Hey, can you get out of New York State, Michael, and go to New Jersey? You have to stay in New York State.
No, I could go to Jersey anytime I want, but I watch out. I don't want to see our pal because he may be lurking.
Yeah.
We're not mentioning any names either.
He's a changed man. Take it from me, but you don't have to.
He may be defending the GW Bridge. I have to be careful.
He's not Billy Goat's Gruff over there. Who's in my bridge?
I go to Jersey sometimes. I don't go to Jersey for beer though. I go to visit somebody. Maybe I.
Yeah, I don't think New York people and New Jersey people interact a whole lot. From my perception, they kind of keep to their own state,
their own kind.
Yeah.
Right now,
I'm serious.
It's the number 2 state in coronavirus after New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
We got 1,200.
Even though Jay is saying Louisiana has the fastest rate right now. The fastest rate
versus highest diagnosis.
Per capita.
That's a big difference.
Per capita.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of people came down here for Mardi Gras and we're all packed together, breathing on each other.
Blaming it on.
Just like Mobile. Same thing with Mobile. Same way. That's why we have 200 and something cases here in Mobile of COVID-19.
So I guess all the chemicals that are in the air after you cross over the George Washington Bridge into New Jersey, I guess that doesn't kill the coronavirus.
I guess not. It'd be good if it did.
Bye, John.
Bye, John. I guess John cruised.
John, what the heck? Oh.
His computer system is not what we would call ideal. Not ideal. Well,
yes.
Mine is either. Mine is not either. Well, it's been a good hangout. We had some really good beers and some inexpensive ones, some rather expensive ones, but we didn't have any that were like super expensive, I don't think.
Right.
There's going to be tomorrow night. Oh, no, I don't think New Orleans is going to be worse than New York City.
Not.
No, I don't think so. Thank you, Sammy. No, I think, let's see. I've been posting the videos on my YouTube called Crisis Tourism, which was a weird experience. Made some little short videos. But tomorrow night, we're going to do Thunder and Thursday. You can bring whatever you want. You can drink water. It doesn't make any difference to me. And then no Friday, nothing Friday. And then Sunday is Stout Sunday. I think I'll join that with a stout.
John is going to be hosting again.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got Founder. I need to bring Founder CBS to drink it one last time,
Sure.
Right?
We appreciate Alex taking over for those 2 weeks.
He did all right.
Yeah. Yes, I thought he did a good job. And I would have joined Sunday, but I went down. I couldn't stand being at home anymore, so I did some crisis tourism. Then
I enjoyed William Kepley yesterday on his premiere presentation from Tuesday Tavern.
Yeah, Tuesday Tavern Tuesday or Tuesday Tavern. Yeah, that was a really fun thing. I was shocked that Michael joined, but I guess Michael made an exception since.
Well, it's funny. I split the thing with my wife. What I said is sometimes we stay on after for this. Once this is over, I have to go up. So I did that for an hour with you guys yesterday. And I said, I'm still going to do Wildcard with Jay, but sometimes I do bonus time and I'm not going to do that. So once we get off and you go off, I'm going to head upstairs.
Yeah, we're going off in less than 1 minute, but we got the Thunder and Thursday. I'm going to do a rum taste challenge, and then I don't know what James P. Madonna is going to do, and whoever else wants to join, and then Stout Sunday, and then next Wednesday is Wildcard Wednesday again. Oh no, it's April 1st. No. Yeah, it is. Oh, right. Okay.
So you need a theme.
We already decided. Fruit.
What was I forgot. Tell me.
Yeah, fruit beers that have fruit
Okay.
in them.
Okay.
Any fruit beer, right? So it's not just a fruited ale. It can be
No, any kind of fruit beer doesn't matter. I might bring a Vita strawberry lager.
yeah. So it can be a stout that has raspberries in it. That's still a
Any
fruit beer.
fruit.
Doesn't matter as long as it's beer and fruit combined. Beer, fruit. You got it. And that you see a lot
I
of.
have at least one. I might have a couple.
Yeah, and we see a lot of that in the springtime, don't we?
Yep.
So, I never heard of those chips, Sammy, but I might run across them. Oh yeah, the Fuego Takis. Yeah, I might be able to do that. Yeah, perhaps. Okay, well, thanks for watching, everybody, and take care, and don't drink too much, and don't get depressed about the virus because it wouldn't do you any good if you got depressed about it anyway. All right.
Everybody take care. It's been fun.
Thanks, and I appreciate